All right, day number six. Let's go. We're getting somewhere. Again, lots going on. Keep moving forward. Again, just constant growth. There's a lot happening. Like I said, also in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of initial growth. There's going to be a lot of noticing it. But that's the thing, and then slows down over time. But it still has to keep happening at this kind of rate. Um, so yeah, so today was a quieter day, I guess, in that sense, was a lot of research. I also had someone here, we were talking, was explaining the idea, just spoke about it. Um, a couple of other little things here and there. Like, I touched the website up a bit, emailed a couple people, scheduled a nice, hopefully good meeting for next week. So see how that goes, fingers crossed. Things like that, nothing crazy. So yeah, so today was a day like that. It wasn't such a full day, but it was a successful day. And I do think, again, we're moving along. It's day by day. Divide 50-year project into the amount of days it's going to be. And, this was a successful day in that. Like I said, the scale of this project is huge. Obviously, I am starting to really, really work it down and get to the exact thing that I'm doing now. Or, I mean, I'm doing that already. I already have the company that I've created, and that's, I guess the first step to this big project. But yeah, to that I need to get figured out. I still need to make sure, either I find the right people or I get the right government funding. It's a lot of research that needs to happen. Again, I'm going to get to that. I don't want to speak about it too much now because it won't make any sense until I really finish explaining this. So again, I'm just going to continue going over this. Um, Again, just a little recap is I'm going to be explaining um, the logic for the first next few days of the space elevator. And then I'll be going over the pitch deck, just showing you really what that is, talking about that. And then, from there, we'll go through the website, things like that. Um, this is really for whoever's watching this, you really get a nice understanding of what's going on. And then as stuff happen and as more things progress, there'll be a nice, I guess, reflection or be able to look back at what happened and really see the progression and see where it goes from me being like this right now to wherever I'm going to be in 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 50 years from now. So again, long term, but there's a lot to it. So let me open this. Here we go. So this is the logical consideration of the space elevator that I wrote. I'm just going to recap a little bit quickly what we discussed. We did establish that space is something that we're going to go to as humans. It's definitely something in our future. We've also established that space is important right now. And that's mainly we did because of it does solve a lot of the issues that we have right now, like climate change. It solves with space solar power, which is a big part of that. It's with a lot of carbon, and that's an immediate answer. And there's obviously a lot more and a lot deeper and longer term or more futuristic answers, but this is the immediate. This is what can happen, in the near future, in the next 10 years, 15 years, and really change the world. So that's one thing that space does hold. It also, resource depletion, right? It gives us a lot more resources. So we're not worried about resource depletion or limited resources on Earth. It doesn't mean we should go and burn those resources, but it does mean we can then use them and grow humanity and really, really advance what we have right now, make things more accessible for people, make things cheaper, benefits that. Space also helps with, the inequality in the world, right? Because it brings more value into the world, more wealth, more global wealth. Also, just for the people who do go to space, it gives people, or when more people understand space, it gives being in space, like many astronauts say, is that looking at Earth, you really see how fragile we are and how delicate the entire humanity is. It really gives you a sense of place in the world and in the universe. So again, hopefully longer term, but that will hopefully lead on to world peace, world acceptance, because at the end of the day, we're all here together on this little thing in the middle of nowhere. Um, and the more we start expanding onto other places in space, the more we'll realize that, this is just one group of us And we really all share that in common. So that's the hope. And again, longer term, and this is generational thing. This is not something that happens overnight. But again, another reason why space is so important. Um, so yes, right? Space is the future. Now, there's an immediate reason to go to space, right? We've established that. There is that immediate reason. The second we start going there, the sooner we start going there, rather, the more of these things will get fixed quicker, sooner. So we really want to be going there as soon as possible. I said soon a lot there, but you get the point. Now, perhaps we are trapped, right, in some outdated paradigms of thought, right? For thousands of years, human aspirations, right? The biggest aspirations we can have are very confined to this planet or even to smaller geographical areas. And that was all that we can fathom, right? So empires rose and fell, right? A lot of people had, and a lot of empires came to being because of land, because of conquering that, because that was our aspiration to acquire and maintain as much land, terrestrial, right? Terrestrial dominance, to have as much land as possible. Which basically is just a zero-sum game, right? It just gets passed between one person to the next. No one can get it, right? No one can really claim it. It's just one person to the next until whoever's left with it. Now we've kind of shifted these days to chasing monetary success, to where economic dominance is the and accumulation of wealth is seen as the definitive measure of success, right? And that sort of defines success, right? How wealthy someone is, how much money they have, and that's something in humanity right now. Once again, it's a very short-sighted goal, and it basically takes us away from the grander, bigger visions of humanity, right? We're basically stuck chasing each other instead of working together for a bigger purpose that can benefit all of us, right? It's not a loss, it's not a negative, it's just we have to realize that it's a bigger picture for everyone's benefit. And again, I know these are concepts that, are futuristic and they're not really the way we all think these days. But again, these are the steps that are needed to get to this point. And I don't think it's going to happen in the next for everyone within the next few hundred years. But I do think if we start building these stuff up, there will be many more people thinking like this and working like this. And then over time, the whole world can hopefully be like this, and that'll really, really, be that not perfect because nothing is going to be perfect, at least not, the way we understand it, but it'll end up being something where we can all value and appreciate every moment that we have, as opposed to people just constantly chasing stuff and not being happy. And again, that's like I said, this is a futuristic concept. It's not an overnight thing, but we, like I said, right, we've been so preoccupied, and I did mention this yesterday, but we've been very preoccupied fighting for slices of the current pie that we have, the current economic global world pie. We haven't really grasped the concept or the potential to bake a much, much larger pie. Um, Now, one of the big things here, and the one of a very crucial distinction from previous advancements, right? Such as transistors, or such as the car, or many huge advantages, right? And the car is a good one. A good example for this is it was a major turning point in human history, right? Now suddenly people can travel much longer distances, much easier. You weren't required to keep a horse or have someone aid with a horse or take care of a horse and all these stuff, right? Obviously, the car was a very, very huge human um, thing, or in the Industrial Revolution, right? That's another huge example. And the thing about these advancements in the past were we've done them, and then we've gotten to a point a little bit later on realizing um, that these aren't really the best methods, right? And we really have to rethink everything and improve it, right? With cars, we realize the pollution, right? Same as with factories, right? These things are built in a way where we get what we want really quickly, but we're not really thinking about the big picture of how that scales up, right? Because sure, one city can have a factory, but if every single city on the world has hundreds of factories, you're stuck, right? You're suddenly in a world full of pollution. Um, so now with this and with space, we know it's a catalyst. We know that once we do get to space, we will have a massive improvement of everything. But the problem is we're really going there in a way that doesn't seem so scalable, right? It doesn't seem very right. And again, we'll get into why afterward, but we have this opportunity now to um, basically grow everything in humanity. And then, set this up right so that these humans can keep relying on this so it can get scaled up and then keep functioning right. So so basically our mission is in, the generation or the people that are really building this first step is we've also gotten the ability to have this knowledge and to understand that we shouldn't just jump into this. We shouldn't just chase it in a way that isn't fully thought out. Um, so now we have this ability, now we have this thing, we should be thinking this through fully, and figuring out really the most scalable, most efficient, best way to connect space to Earth, to continue, human advancement at this high level and really bring this catalyst in this next huge era of humanity, which is, humans beyond Earth. Um, right. So now, obviously, this is a monumental undertaking. It's a huge shift in perspective, a different way of looking at these big issues that we do have right now, right? Whether they're space or how to get to space, or even just thinking about the ways of working or the ways of getting stuff done. We have to think beyond this. So I get it. This isn't a easy thing to just grasp onto and jump on, but it really is the future, and it really is the logical next steps to getting where many humans want to get, right? And I think yeah, I probably could say most humans these days do think of equality and love and happiness as core values of being human and of humanity's future. So these are big steps to getting there, really getting there, not just, having back and forths that, again, zero sum game, just a lot of back and forth. So I know this is a very optimistic look, and this is a very, you know, hopeful view for humanity, but we have this ability now to do this. So we need to make sure that these decisions that we make, all these historic decisions, right, and this huge vision basically becomes a tangible reality. So we're doing this, and it's something we need to do right, right? There's no chance to, I mean, there will be always a chance to go back, but sometimes that's, not as beneficial, or sometimes that just hurts us in the process, right? As you see currently with a lot of what's going on in our world. Again, I don't know when you're watching this or what the current situation is, but I'm sure there always will be conflict, even with something like this. That's just part of our nature, unfortunately. But hopefully we can realize bigger goals and start working toward bigger things instead of some smaller things. And I'm not saying no one's working to big things, and I'm not trying to say that. I just, there's a lot. Now, that's good for today. Tomorrow I'm gonna get into how we actually do this. How do we go to space? How do we actually fix these issues? Until now we were talking about the issues and what's going on, and really now, we've established that we need to go to space. We've established us to space. We've established that we need to go to space now. We've established that we need a fundamental change in the way we think about it and the way we go toward it. And then tomorrow we'll be talking about how. So thank you. And again, as always, I hope this taught you something, and I hope we get somewhere. So good luck.